Welcome to our yin yoga class. Let's get started today, warming up. So the way that I like to do yin is I like to move through range of motion, especially when it's cold in the wintertime. You got to do that. You got to take your body into consideration. So we're going to move through our joints first, range of motion, and then we will be holding those poses. Now, remember, poses are held for a lot longer, 3 to 5 minutes. It's a long time. And that's because we're working with the connective tissue as opposed to the muscular tissue. Connective tissue takes longer to open up. So you might be feeling the fascial tissue that moves throughout the entire body. And if you have a lot of tightness, you might be experiencing that. So ease up. Don't beat yourself up. We don't need to over effort ourselves into these poses. Use your blocks, 2 to 3 blocks. Your blanket. Oh, V, I needed to get you a blanket. Dang it. Your blanket and also your bolster. You want all of them. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to start out in a crawling position today on your hands and knees. Okay. Shoot, I could have easily grabbed a blanket for you. Oh, Marie. I probably have one in my car. All right, now you're in a crawling position. We want to start out by warming up the spine. So you're going to drop your belly. Just let your sit bones lift and then look up and then move side to side. Excellent. And then round, tuck your head. Good. Then drop your belly again. Look up. And you can move side to side if that feels open for you. And then tuck the tail and round. Good. Drop the belly again. Open. And then tuck. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. Drop, open. I think we started out our class last week like this too, but that's okay. It's good. And then tuck. Good. Now we're going to shift forward in that tuck and just let the body release down and take your right arm, just take it right out to the side. Now, when you go out to the side, it's not down, it's right out. So you go out to the side and then lift and kind of open up the chest. Oh. And you could press, Nancy and V, you guys can just press into the floor. That's good. And then release out of that and do the other side. Keep that front of the chest on the ground, shoulder on the ground. So just press with your hand, Nancy. Yeah, there you go. Good. And release out of that. And you're going to do the right side again. Open. Press. Ooh, I'm a little bit, I did a whole bunch of push-ups yesterday in my yoga class. And then now I'm feeling it. And then left arm extends and open. Good. And then release. And we're going to push up. Now, when we push up, you're going to release all the way back. And then walk your hands to the right side. Turn your head to the right. Now, what you're doing here is it really doesn't matter where your right hand is. That doesn't matter. What matters is that your left hand and arm is really reaching. Turn your head to the right. So drop your head to the ground. So Nancy, don't reach quite as far to the right. Yeah, so that you can drop your head now. But your head drops to the inside of your arms. There you go. So your head drops down between the arms. And you should be feeling a pretty big side body stretch with this. Oh, doesn't that feel good? And then walk your hands to the other side. Now, your right arm is going to be reaching. Turn your head and look to the side. It doesn't matter what your left hand is doing. It can just be there. So really reaching with that right arm that's reaching to the left. So you're off your mat off the edge of your mat on the left side, and you're reaching. And you should be feeling a side body stretch. Yes? Good. And then slowly coming out of that, you're going to come up into a crawling position again. And now your right hand threads. Oh, just thread it right through and take your right shoulder to the center of your mat. Drop. Now, even out your pelvis here. So if you have to open up your legs a little bit, go wider with your legs, do that because I want your sacrum flat. And then take your other arm, wrap it around the back. Oh, we're just like opening everything up. This is just our introduction. We're doing nothing yet. Oh. And here's what's so nice about yin. There is a meditative component to it, especially if we are not overstimulating ourselves with music, right? I never play music in yoga, and that's because most people are overstimulated. As soon as you put music on, that becomes a distraction for people. All right, and then slowly coming out of that, lift up. Plus, none of my teachers, I was fortunate to have teachers from India, and they don't play music. Left shoulder goes to the center of your mat and drop. Okay, so same thing. Level out your pelvis here. Sacrum is level. And then you take your right arm around the low back. We're just gradually helping the body wake up, remove any stiffness. Good, and then slowly coming out of that. Ooh, and now we're gonna work with the legs. So you're gonna come a little higher up on your mat. And then take your right leg and move in a circle. Go in one direction and then go in the other direction. This is just a good idea to do for all your classes, really. Warm up all your joints. Give your joints an opportunity to kind of wake up. Then that leg comes up and you're going to cross it over the other leg and then reach back and then sit back and then hold yourself. Now drop the knee. Now, if your toes are curled under on that left foot, you can flatten it out and just hold it. This is just a very simple hip opener. It's just starting to open up the hip. It's not super extreme yet. Nice. Looks good, you guys. Lisa, I actually get to see you this time. Normally your iPad just moves around all over the place and doesn't let me see you, but I get to see you today. So however you positioned it, it's letting me see you. Okay, and then slowly come up. You can bring yourself back up onto your hands, and now the left leg goes in a circle in one direction. You're just moving in a circle, warming up that hip joint. Hello, hip. And then go in the other direction. You don't have to be really intense about it. Listen to your body. Good, and then that leg comes up, goes over the other leg, and then reach out. Now you can flatten out the right foot. So if you have it curled under, that's fine, but then flatten it out, reach out and then drop the back knee and just kind of hold it. It's like a very modified version of pigeon. Let go of your head. Excellent. Good, and then we're gonna come up out of that, release. Okay, now you're gonna need your 2 blocks. So now you're gonna take your blocks and you're gonna place them like that. Right in the middle of your mat. Or Abby, you can just do it just at the end of your mat. It's fine, because here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna come into the Hindi squat. So your feet are like this, and then you sit down. Now, if you cannot hold yourself here, then you're just gonna go bloop, right on your blocks. If you can go deeper, then just use 1 block. Now, I have no ACL in my knee anymore, you guys. So now I want you to kind of shift your weight a little bit forward onto your toes. In other words, you're not sitting back. We're not doing this. It's bad posture, you guys. I'm just saying. I know it's very attractive. Not. But you want to be forward on the toes. See, look, I'm bringing some lumbar curve back in by doing that. Nice. And then your hands are here. Ooh, I might be doing what you're doing. Taking off my sweater. It's getting warm in here. So you're going to press hands to your heart. Ah, now lean a little bit further forward onto the toes if you can. This is going to evolve. Well, that sounds exciting. That means an adventure. So we're going to evolve this pose into another pose. I know, you guys, calm down. Don't get so excited. Now lean forward onto your toes a little bit so that do you feel how it's kind of stretching that low back? Oh, I love it. It feels good. Do you know that there are people that eat their meals like this throughout the world? Do you know how healthy it is to be in this position? We need to start doing it. We don't need chairs anymore. Let's get rid of all of our chairs. Nancy's like, Marie, be quiet.
My dog would love it.
I'm sure your dog would love it. I'm sure that Andy's cats would love it too. All right. So you're just kind of leaning forward on the toes to give you a little bit more opening for the low back. Okay. Now we're going to be rotating to the side. So we're going to rotate to the left here in the studio, but you guys are going to rotate to the right online. So you're going to just turn and rotate. Now watch what happens. The knee drops. I'm on my toes. Okay, for those of you who do not have very flexible feet or strong feet, this might be really painful. And all I'm going to encourage you to do is kind of lean forward a little bit so it's not so bad. Or you might have to come out of it. Or here's your option. I'll just kind of turn this way so you guys can see. Your option is to lean forward, and then you're going to take a block and sit on it behind you to take some of the pressure off your foot. Okay? take the pressure off your foot if you need it. Okay, so your left foot is, right foot is flat in front. You could sit on the block if you need a little pressure off. Okay, you got it? Now rotate. So rotate to the side. So you should be sitting back on your heel. There you go. Now, if that's too intense for your foot, just take the block under like I have. So you just take your block. Yeah. There you go. There. Now it's not so intense on the foot. All right. And then you're rotating to the side. How's that, Nancy?
That's what I'm doing.
You are. Now, here's the thing. You can go deeper into the pose by letting this arm that is on the thigh in the front move down more towards the elbow and then further down towards the hip. And now you're going to get a deeper rotation. And so instead of being up here by the knee, just slide down. And then that's going to push the hand down and give you I love this because do you feel how it's opening up the shoulder blade? Nice. Good. I just want you guys to know I'm wearing my very positive t-shirt today. Sky is the limit.
True.
It is true. It's not only the sky is the limit, the sky is unlimited. Oh, now if you're feeling like you can handle a little bit more for that foot that you're sitting on, maybe move your block down. Oh, yeah. Good. Now, there's another add-on here. Isn't it great that I wore these colorful socks so you guys can actually see what my feet are doing? I know. I like them too. I love being a goober. It's just really fun. Okay, so now you're going to take your hands to your heart. Do you see my hands? They're coming to my heart. And I'm going to reach them right out. I'm going to follow this leg, this thigh down. And I'm going to reach right out, drop, and open my arms. Drop the head. And then if you're able to, interlace your fingers. Behind you, you drop your head all the way to the ground. I've got my top of my head on the ground. Woo! Now, if your foot is getting fatigued, just release it and go down. That's fine. Okay. So your arm is in front of the shin, comes around, and you grab behind you. Here, I'll show you. So this is why coming to class is so great. So slide this foot back a little bit. Yep. Come down. There you go. That's it. Oop. Keep it right there. One of these hands can turn, whichever feels most comfortable. Yep, but keep it right there. There you go. How's that? Yeah, so here. Rest your head. You can rest your head on a block or on a bolster. Cool. Relax your head, Nancy.
I can't put my head down that long. I get dizzy.
Here.
I'm having dizzy.
There you go. Yes, you can. No I can'ts in here. Great, Andy. That looks really good. Now, if you want to put a block under your head, Andy, you can. Grab like one of those blocks next to you and then just let your head rest on it. Yeah. Excellent. Look at you. Abby, that's great. Okay. Nice. All right. So most of you guys have flattened out the foot. That's okay.
If you need to do it, that's fine.
And remember, your arm in the front is in front of the shin, not up here. It's in front. Okay, got it. Everybody's got it, so it's fine. All right, then we come out of that. Oh, thank God. Shake out your feet. Now, guess what? We got to do the other side. Like I always say, aren't you glad we don't have, no, we're not octopuses and we have to do 8 legs? All right, now you turn, come up, and rotate the other way. Sit on the block behind you if you need to, no problem. Okay, now the foot, you guys, it's flat in the front. You want to have it right next to the knee. Okay, I'm sitting on my foot, so you want to start out curled under, right? Got it, everybody? I need this one. It's a little more stable. And then we sit up and rotate. Now, your rotation here in the beginning is quite simple. It's just right here by the knee. The other hand's behind you. And it's going to become bigger. Now, remember, if you're sitting up without the support of the block, so you're sitting on your heel, you might have to kind of lean forward a little bit just to take some of the pressure off. But if that gets to be too much, then sit on your block. Okay? Now, for a deeper rotation, this extended arm moves down past the knee towards the hip, and you want to go further down towards the elbow and then rotate. So it's a deeper rotation. Great, Nancy, look at you. That's awesome. Oh, that feels so good. I love how it opens up the shoulder blade. Now, if you keep pushing this extended arm down, not the arm that's wrapped around the back, but the other arm, if you keep kind of activating it, pushing it down, that'll deepen your rotation and give you more opening here in the shoulder blades. How does that feel, you guys? Excellent. All right. We're going to be coming out of it here in another minute. Remember, we hold these poses for longer in yin. As you could drop into that more meditative state. What does that mean? It means that you feel your breath. You feel your body. You can be the witness of any kind of dialogue that's showing up in the mind. Not necessarily, you don't have to engage in it. You just can notice that it's there. Oh, look at, I'm thinking about my grocery list. It's energy that's showing up in thought patterns. And oftentimes when we stop and hold ourselves in stillness, that kind of energy can unravel. The hecticness of life can unravel. Okay, excellent. And then we come out of that, slowly releasing out of that. And now we're going to take our hands into prayer, right? And now they're going to go down right onto the thigh. And then you're just going to follow, right? Up, extend. Now watch that arm. One goes here in front of the shin and the other one goes around the back. Grab your hands. Now, if you're in this position and it gets to be too much with the foot curled under, then just flatten it out, you guys. It's fine. Drop your head. This is opening up that back. How nice. Now, let me just show you that there are other options. I have a strap here. So you want to be sitting back, B. So you're, yes. The only reason why it's hard is because this foot just needs to come back a little bit more. There you go. And then you go around right there and then come around. And let me give you a strap. So you can use a strap behind you, right? Be right where you are. There you go. Perfect. Nice. Does that feel okay? And then if you want to, you can even support your head with a block or a bolster in front. Is that too high?
Yeah.
I think you could go lower. Is that too low?
No, that's good.
Okay. Nancy, that looks great. And you still have your toes curled under. Look at you. You're a badass.
Well, I keep these toes flexible.
Yeah. No, let me tell you, having strong and flexible feet, oh boy, does that make a difference. All right, try to like hold that pose. Try not to move around too much. Keep your head relaxed. Support the head if you would like. Or you can take the head all the way down to the ground or to the knee. It's really a nice stretch for the back, for the shoulder blade, for the feet. There's a lot going on in this pose. Excellent. Good. It's perfect. Everybody has their head supported by a block. That's what you want. All right. And then we slowly come out of that, release out of that. And then you can just kind of slap out those feet. Oh, all right. Okay, now you will need your bolster and your blocks in the front of you. Okay, and then we're going to drop down onto our belly. So we want to bring back our natural curve in the lumbar. So bringing back natural lumbar curve. So you're just right there on your elbows, extended arm. And now if you have low back issues, you want to go a little wider with your feet off the mat. No problem. And then just kind of release the pelvis a little bit. And then we're going to hold that. And this is one of those go-to postures. Like if you go to physical therapy, if you've got bulging discs, they will tell you this is what you need to do. Right? Now, if you have no problem with your low back, you can bring your feet in. Okay. And we're holding that. And then if it feels pretty good, pretty open, then you'll want to go to having a couple of blocks underneath you. And so you come up a little bit higher. Now let's just say you don't have blocks with you, because sometimes that does happen. You can actually just press into your hands and lift. It's just that you are using muscular effort. And yin is really about trying to eliminate as much muscular effort as possible. Now, if that feels still pretty easy, then you can come up onto your bolster. That's another option. You got it. Excellent. All right. And so this is a really healthy thing to do. It encourages, if you do have low back issues with bulging discs, what it does is it naturally, just organically, from being in this position, pushes those discs back into place. So instead of bulging out, why do they bulge out? Well, because people sit too much, or they're in a chronic rounded spine position that causes the lower lumbar to bulge. Most of the time it's because of being sedentary. Sometimes there can be injuries that can do it too. But most of the people I work with, it's because of sedentary work and driving and things like that. This is probably going to be great for you, V, because you just did that big drive. V is amazing. I just want you to know, V's here, my friend V. She drove 15 hours? 15 hours in one day. She's like a superstar. All the way from Colorado to Reno. Boom, nonstop, except for gas, right? But yeah, that's a long, long trip. I remember that because I lived in Boulder and I think it would take us like 16, 17 hours. It was a long drive. You know, with kids, you kind of have to stop, and we would always stop in Salt Lake City area or Park City, spend the night, and then continue on. All right, it's feeling pretty good. Woo! Okay, we're going to come out of that now. So to come out of it, you're going to push up, curl your toes under. Now, I don't want your pelvis to go too far back. I want you to use your bolster. So if you don't have your bolster, grab it. You're going to take your wrist to the front edge of your bolster and then drop down. Forehead goes to the ground or goes to a block, right? Now you might notice if your knees are too close in, it just kind of feels like you're sitting back on your heels. Kind of experiment a little bit with the just right spot for you. I like to have my knees a little further back and drop down that way. So I'm not taking my butt all the way back. I'm kind of leaning forward a little bit, and that's going to open up the armpits and the chest. How's that feel, you guys? And then your arms, when they're reaching up, so instead of being just straight up, they are in a little bit more of a V, right? Because that's your anatomical position. Anatomical is not straight up out of the armpit. They come out a little bit. So it's a V. Not V like UV, but V. Yeah, how's that feel? Do you want the blocks?
Yeah,
For your forehead?
yeah.
Here. There you go. That's nice. Nancy, how's that feel?
I feel it right here.
Yeah, sometimes. That's where you're tight. And you also did a whole bunch of yard work. All right, so let me have you just go a little bit wider so that you can maybe straighten the arms a little bit. And now take your butt back a little more. So adjust your knees if you need to so your butt can go back. There you go. Feel the difference? Excellent. God, this is such a nice blog. It has that mandala on it. Good. So believe it or not, these simple stretches are so beneficial. Nice. That looks great. So, Andy, see if you can take your wrists a little further forward on your bolster. There you go. Now drop down. Does that give you a little bit more of a stretch? Not too much. All right. And then we're going to come up. Okay, now we are doing another rotation. So we started out our warm up with this one. Move your knees back and open them up. So what I mean by open them up is instead of having them right here, you're going to go wider because we want the sacrum to stay level. Okay. And then thread the right hand through, and you're either going to go to the center of your mat or a little closer to the left edge of your mat. So if you've got a little more range because we've been doing these postures, now you're going to see if you could take the shoulder a little closer to the edge, but flatten out here. So go a little wider. And then the arm comes up over the back. Ooh. So it's a bigger rotation. Yeah, that's great. And your head is resting on the ground, you guys. How's that feel? Everybody's good? So Lisa, can you take your knees a little further back? Yeah. There you go. Now do it. There you go. Now take your left arm around the low back. Yay. Showing a little skin there. Excellent. Now, if that's feeling pretty open, I want you to shift your shoulder a little closer to the left edge of your mat. So Andy, I definitely think you could do that. Yeah. Andy has turned into my flexible gal. She is. All right. How's that feel, V? Is it okay? I'm just going to lift you a little bit. There you go. All right. Ooh, isn't it great? You know, I've done this posture where I was in it for so long, I had to come out of it so slow. It was like I was stuck in it. Good. How's that, Nancy? Okay, I'm going to actually just kind of rotate your head because it looks just a little bit tweaked. All right, there you go. There. Even out your pelvis. So you can go a little wider with your knees if that feels better. There you go. Okay. All right, now slowly come out of that. Ooh, now when you come out of it, you're just going to sit up and kind of roll your shoulders out a little bit. Oh my. Very pretzel-y. Not a salty one, that's for sure. Okay. All right. Now go back into the position. Like I said, go a little bit wider with your knees. And now your left arm, shoulder, that shoulder's going to go either to start out with the center. But if you know you're feeling pretty open, you can just kind of go a little bit closer to the right edge this time. Drop. Now, sacrum is level. And then your arm comes up around the low back. You can flatten out your feet too if you want to. So if your toes are curled under and they're kind of feeling like they need a break, you can flatten them out, no problem. And then your arm can go to your low back, your other arm. Yeah, very nice, guys. Oh. So, you know, whenever we're doing rotations, remember every single one of these poses has a physiological, your body physiologically responds to each pose. Anytime you're doing twists, you're actually internally massaging those organs. So you're helping your body to digest mentally, physically, emotionally. So it's all about integrating and assimilating when you're doing twists. That's why, yoga is really meant to be used as a way to help bring us into balance. So if you know you're having a hard time, you're dealing with a lot of information, you're having to like go to class for something, or there's just a lot of input for whatever reason, you want to do those twists to help you assimilate. Now see if you can go a little bit deeper, taking the left shoulder a little closer to the right edge of your mat. Yep. And try to stay in it, right? We want to move into that meditative state. All right, and then we're going to slowly come out of that. Ooh, good. And when you come out of it, you're just going to sit back and kind of roll out the shoulders. Shake them out a little bit. All right. Okay, now we're going to have the bolster and your blocks at the front of your mat. Right leg is going to step forward. Move the bolster to the inside of that foot. Then extend your left leg out, flatten out your foot, and we are now in a lunge. Okay? So your lunge, here's your options. I've got my bolster here, and I'm going to bring my hands on my bolster. Just start to release that way. So our lunge is going to turn into a pigeon, you guys. Dang, I can't see Lisa. So you want your foot to be right underneath the knee. So if your foot's too far in and you're doing this, you need to bring your foot out a little bit. Okay, there you go. Now see if you can drop down onto your forearms. And in either on the bolster or onto a block. And eventually to the floor. Okay. Ooh, and we're being here for a little bit, so just kind of hang in there with it. Now, if you start teetering to the baby toe edge of that right foot, you want to kind of move the foot a little closer to the right edge of your mat then. And then shift your hips down, and it is okay to be at the level that's right for you. Okay, then you're going to come back up. Now watch what's going to happen. Lean back a little bit. Walk that right foot over to the left edge of your mat. Now, here's when you will need a blanket or a block. The block goes down here so that I can take my right glute onto it. Okay? Or you can use your bolster. Watch. How nice. I'm going to go to my bolster. Yeah. The knee is in front. If I'm using the bolster, the knee is in front. Now, what are we trying to do by walking our foot over to the left edge? We're really trying to keep the foot up a little bit higher. It is a much bigger stretch for your glutes and your rotators. Extended leg hip, We're encouraging it down. Yikes. How's that feel? It's big, huh? Yeah. So a lot of people will do pigeon with the heel down into the groin. That's just a variation, but there's no challenge to that at all. It does not open up the hips for a lot of people. So you pull the foot up. You want the foot, the ankle, and the heel to actually be lined up with the knee. So, just come up a little higher with your pelvis on a bolster or on a block or on a blanket. There you go, Andy. So Andy, if you're going to do this as a reverse pigeon, just let the leg extend out. So look, Andy is having to modify. She's having to do this way. So Andy, do it like this. I want this leg extended out and then just grab the foot and pull it in. It's the exact same pose. But just let this bottom leg extend. Yeah, there you go. Is that okay? But Lisa, you don't need to do that. Come back up here. You need to do this version. Come back up into pigeon. There you go. Now see if you can drop onto your elbows. If you haven't dropped onto your elbows yet. Yeah. Nice. So I just showed you guys another way of doing this pose is on your back, right? The leg is still extended and you still have the right leg up bent in like that pigeon position, but you're just upside down. Isn't it nice to know that there's lots of options? Good, and then we release out of that. Ooh, big, 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 big. And you're gonna go into down dog, just kind of walk out your feet. And now your left leg comes forward and we're dropping into pigeon. I'm sorry, into a lunge. Bring your bolster up. Now make sure this left foot is right underneath the knee. So if you have your foot too far back and you're jetting the knee forward, pick up the foot, place it up so that the knee is right underneath that ankle. And then you're up on your bolster. Nice. How's that feel, you guys? And then if you're feeling pretty good, drop down. Oh, I'm running out of time. Dang it. And drop down further. All the way to the ground. So we're doing the lunge as a prep for the pigeon. It's really a nice way of getting into pigeon. We don't have to I go to these classes sometimes and I'm just like, Mama Mia, where's Stefania when I need her, right? Because a lot of the instructors will just throw people into these big, big poses. And it's just so much easier for your body to gently work your way there. And then you really are in a big pose, but you're in the big pose and your body can do it. Okay, now you're going to walk the left foot over. Walk it over to the right edge, either using a bolster, a blanket, or a block. And drop the knee down. Nice. Encourage the extended leg hip to the ground. Yep. And then if you're up on your hands, you could release down onto your elbows. Yeah, nice. How's that feel, you guys?
Good.
And you want that foot as much as possible to be up. Here, let me just kind of encourage this in a little bit more for you. There you go. Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys, I've got this. I'm not going to make it. Oh. Nice. All right, that looks great, you guys. Okay. And then we're gonna come out of that. And just kind of going into a down dog and walk your legs out. And then we're gonna roll onto our back. You'll need your blocks. Start out with 2 blocks. We're gonna do a supported bridge. So you're just gonna take your blocks underneath your back. Right there, placed at the back of the pelvis. So you could do 1 block, that's fine. But if you have a little bit more space for it, add a second block. And you could extend your legs out if you have that. For some people, this is not comfortable for the low back, so you're just gonna keep those knees bent. Whatever feels best. So you do wanna have your block a little bit further down, closer to the tailbone. Right, so you're getting that support on the sacrum. It's not jammed up into the low back. So Lisa, move your block down towards the tailbone a little bit. Yeah, there you go. That's better. Okay, nice. All right, and then coming out of that, remove your blocks. No, we're not in it too long because we're just winding down here. Draw your knees into your chest. Open up your arms to the side, take your knees to one side. Bring your hand up, put your hand in the opposite direction. Breathe into your ribs. And then your knees come up and go to the other side, and you're gonna turn your head and breathe again into your ribs. Oh, good, and then from there, you're gonna release. If you need to do another bridge, just do it to reset your pelvis. Then extend your legs out to the corners of your mat. Arms are now gonna drop, palms up in a receiving position. Cover yourself up, get your sweatshirt back on, cover your eyes, and set yourself up for Shavasana. All right, all right. So, oh shoot, that's okay, I got it. No, I have one in the paper house, yeah. So just rest in Shavasana. All right, and rest. You guys cover your eyes. Okay, letting your body just completely release and let go. Corpse pose. It is the ultimate release. A complete letting go. All right, and then begin to deepen your breath. Gently roll to your right side. And then bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position, bringing your hands to your heart. Thank you guys so much for being here today for Yin. I hope you have a lovely day and you feel so much more open and more connected. Namaste.